March 23, 1931, 7:30 p.m. Inside the walls of the Lahore Central Jail, the British colonial administration broke its own protocols to carry out a hanging under the cover of darkness. They moved the execution forward by 11 hours, terrified of the massive crowds gathering outside the prison gates. The empire feared these three men, Bhagat Singh, Shiva Ram Rajguru, and Sukhdev. They led the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, or HSRA. The HSRA was an armed anti-colonial organization dedicated to completely replacing the British Empire with a sovereign, secular, and socialist republic. The secret, rushed execution was designed to suppress public outcry. Instead, the news spread instantly across the subcontinent. Millions of people mourned openly, and the three young men immediately became nationwide symbols of resistance. Because of this, March 23rd was permanently recognized as Shaheed Diwas. Shaheed Diwas is the official Martyrs' Day observed in India to honor those who sacrificed their lives for the country's independence. By trying to quietly extinguish their lives, the British administration immortalized them. The hanging solidified their status as foundational figures of the modern Indian state. In the immediate aftermath, the colonial government enacted strict censorship laws. They aggressively banned photographs, they banned poems and political literature, attempting to scrub their ideology from the public record. This map shows the rapid spread of underground printing networks, radiating outward from Lahore in 1931. Covert presses duplicated the banned images and writings by the thousands, smuggling them across provincial lines. These covert prints embedded the martyrs' core secular and socialist ideals deeply into the public consciousness. Notice how the distribution network branches heavily into labor unions and student groups. Think of their specific political ideology as a kind of historical watermark. Because their actual writings were so widely distributed by these networks, it became impossible for competing political factions to co-opt their image or falsely claim ownership of their movement later on. Before India could win its independence, it had to secure the true history of its resistance. Maintaining the unadulterated memory of Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev was the first major victory of the post-execution era. The clearest view of that ideology survives in Bhagat Singh's jail notebook. Discovered years later, this 404-page collection of notes and quotes reveals a deeply analytical scholar, countering the British portrayal of him as a simple militant. On July 24, 1930, he sent a requisition letter from the Lahore Central Jail to a friend named Jaidev. He systematically requested texts by Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels, and Peter Kropotkin. Kropotkin was a prominent Russian anarchist philosopher who advocated for decentralized communist societies. He also sourced works by Karl Liebknecht and Bertrand Russell. Liebknecht was a German socialist and co-founder of the Spartacus League, while Russell was a British philosopher known for his anti-imperialist views. Even from the confines of his prison cell, Singh was actively engaging with the global vanguard of political theory. The reading list included titles like Militarism, Left-Wing Communism, and Civil War in France. He methodically studied the mechanical failures of other empires and the historical frameworks of successful labor uprisings. This diagram illustrates a critical evolution in his thinking. His focus shifted from isolated acts of individual retaliation, represented by the single point, to the necessity of mass mobilization. True, lasting revolution, he concluded, required deep philosophical education of the working class. This intense intellectual diet directly informed the manifesto of the HSRA. It mandated a strictly secular approach, explicitly rejecting religious communalism in favor of uniting the masses under a shared economic vision. The pistols and bombs captured the headlines, but they were secondary tools. The jail notebook proves the most potent weapon these men developed was a highly cultivated revolutionary intellect. Today, the nation honors them through Shraddhanjali. Shraddhanjali is a Hindi and Gujarati term that translates roughly to a solemn vow of remembrance and an offering of profound, respectful tribute. It is common during these tributes to offer koti koti vandan, or millions of bows. This phrasing acknowledges an immeasurable debt owed to young men who surrendered their futures to build the foundation of a modern republic. The oppressive, sepia-toned restrictions of the 1930s colonial era are gone. They were replaced by the vibrant reality of the independence that these revolutionaries engineered through their political foresight. The ultimate living manifestation of their ideological blueprint and physical sacrifice is this sovereign flag of the Republic of India flying free. The physical bodies of Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev were destroyed on that March evening, yet their meticulously documented ideals survived to become the immortal fabric of the nation.